Good afternoon. Welcome to another session of ENG3E Term 2A, brought to you by WASA Distance Education Center. My name's Mike Laverty, and today is Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023. We are now on class number 10, and we are continuing our discussion of Unit 2 of ENG3E. So today's class, we're going to have a look at unit assignments 4 through 8, look at the textbook assignments from Making It Work. There's 2 of them on page 116, and we're going to have a look at the textbook assignment from the road ahead, page 87. So hope everybody's staying warm out there. It's pretty frosty here in Sulico, but actually pretty hot inside the studio as we got these bright windows looking out over Front Street in Sulico, so it's pretty nice here in the studio. So we are in week 3 of classes in term 2A. We've got a this is a 9-week course. So we're in week 3 of 9. So we're about a third of the way there. We will have no classes March 13th to the 16th. That's our March break. No classes, no broadcasts. And if you're on Facebook, please join the WASA Facebook page. It'll actually say new in the title of the page, so you don't confuse it with the old one. So we're working through Unit 2 in week 3, but I'm thinking probably going to need a little bit of week 4 to get this unit taken care of. But you know, weeks 4 and 5 will be devoted to Unit 3. Weeks 5 and 6, Unit 4, and Units 7 and 8 be devoted to Unit 5. And then, of course, we will spend at least 1 week. Hopefully a bit of 8, but at least week 9. Whoops. Yeah, so at least a week helping students go over the final exam, making sure you've got all the knowledge you need, a review of all the skills that we go over in this class. So this class is intended to, develop your literacy skills specifically, and we do look at a variety of readings from, information text to fiction. We do a bit of poetry, looking at visual elements, things like that. So the final exam will sort of like see if you can apply that knowledge to other texts, and that's sort of like the mark of success in an English course. It's not really memorizing information about a novel or memorizing what happens in a story. It's more developing the skills that you could apply to any novel and any book and any essay and like you name it, right? So that's really what we're developing here, is skills that you can apply to other situations, right? There's not much benefit in just memorizing something for a very specific situation. And it's kind of like learning math, right? You learn how to add and divide, not so you can add and divide one worksheet. You learn how to do it so you can apply it to like thousands or millions of scenarios, right? In your life, whatever career you go into. So for those of you who are listening on the radio, just please note that in addition to watching and listening, you can phone into the studio, 1-800-465-7144 or 737-4017. You can listen on Bell ExpressVu as well, channel 972. And you can also go to zoom.us. So you can go on Zoom. Our meeting ID is 417-669-9799. So that's the meeting ID. That's how you can join us online. All of the classes are uploaded to my YouTube channel. So right now, you will find classes 1 through 9 up on the YouTube channel right now. And then tomorrow morning, I will add class 10. So the entire class will be on there, and I keep it as up to date as I can. It's usually about 1 day behind. Please start submitting that work. If you have any questions about submitting work, please don't hesitate to reach out to your local learning center, talk to your DEC, talk to myself. You can fax work, you can email it, you can scan it, you can send it on Facebook Messenger. So many ways to do that. And another reminder to submit your work into groups of 5 or 10 assignments. So this allows me to give you feedback quickly and guide your future work. Give me as much information about your course as you can, your name, your community, the course code, that's ENG3E, and provide me with as much information about the assignment. Is it Unit 1, is it 2, is it a textbook assignment, is it a unit assignment? So, and again, so 5 to 10 is like the ideal, sort of like perfect range. But if you want to hand in 1 or 2 assignments, that's fine too. It's the real problem is when I get a huge range or a very large number of assignments, like more than 10 or like an entire unit. And on the one hand, I applaud your effort and I love that people are active and submitting work, and I can't fault you on that. But if you go too far ahead in the work, it makes it hard for me to give you feedback and sort of correct and give you guidance. So because this course is a lot about receiving guidance and working on skills, and you need that give and take with your teacher to make it happen. So any questions about that, anything else, reach out to me at mlaverty@nnecschools.org. Find me on Facebook, hit me up on Messenger, Laverty Wassa. Phone the Wassa office, 807-737-1488, extension 2211 to get myself, or just ask for Mike if you get the receptionist. So exactly, find us on Facebook, reach out to me, reach out to your learning center if you've got any questions. Best time to contact me is Monday through Friday, 9 till 3. I teach from 1 to 3, Monday to Thursday, but Friday I'm available all day. I'm just sitting there waiting for your call. And absolutely, I want to get your call. I want to receive your email. I want to get your Facebook message. Just open up a dialogue. Let me know what's happening in your life with this chorus. Let me know how I can help you. That's my job. That's what I'm here for. So take advantage of that, and take advantage of anybody else in your life who can give you a hand with these choruses. All right, so 2 weeks suggested progress. You should make contact with your teacher. That's myself. Read the study guide, Unit 1, Unit 2 of ENG3E. So get the study guide read. Read through Units 1 and Unit 2. You should have completed Unit 1 assignments. That's 1 through 10, and completed all of the textbook assignments from Unit 1. So that just leaves the culminating assignment, the culminating activity, right? So up to this point. All right, so here's today's lesson. We will delve into our words of the day. We'll look at textbook assignments. That's before you read, page 87 in the road ahead. Textbook assignments from Making It Work. That's Think About It, page 116. Use the anthology, page 116. And we'll also, which I forgot to add to this page, is we will also look at unit assignments. Uh, 4 to 8. So keep working on our textbook assignments and keep working on our unit assignments. There it is. So our learning goals are to consider a variety of skills that are useful in the workplace, review Unit 2 assignments 4 through 8, and review 3 of the textbook assignments from Unit 2. And so apply your understanding of workplace skills to answer several textbook and unit assignments for Unit 2. So the primary focus of today's class in relation to the textbook assignments and the unit assignments is what we're really talking about today is workplace skills. So skills you need in most workplaces, right? So depending on what you do for a living, you're going to have like really job specific skills, like if you're a welder or if you're a housekeeper or a baker, for example. There's going to be really specific job skills that you need to get that job done. But the job skills that we're talking about today are, I guess, what you'd call foundational, fundamental. You know, these are skills you need to basically interact with other people and to be part of a team and to understand what needs to be done and to see how you fit in. So, so just a wide variety of skills that aren't really tied to a specific job, but that should help you in most jobs, right? Because this is a workplace a workplace English course, and the focus of this course is to enhance your communication skills and give you some knowledge of what it's going to take to get a job after you graduate high school. Even if you already have a job, of course, or have worked in a variety of jobs, the focus of the course remains the same, right? It's just and if you have a job and you're in that job and you've been doing it for years, the course can still give you insights into how to perhaps move on to a different job or find maybe a better job that's more suited to you in that organization, or help you explore some different careers where you can feel really satisfied and know that you're putting your skills to work. All right, so we've got some words of the day up on the screen. So I like to use English and Anishinaabe-Moan words. So I speak English. I don't speak Anishinaabe-Moan, but I'm trying to learn more of the words in the language and just to see how the language actually functions. Just excuse me for 1 sec. All right. So, Nita Wachige is she or he is skilled at something, knows how to make things. So it's a verb. And Mawa Anji Digawag is they come together, meet with each other, have a meeting. So again, I apologize if I am not pronouncing these words correctly. I'm trying my best. But anybody out there want to correct me and out there, I would be much obliged. So we got two words to do with skills and meeting. I was trying to think of like workplace words we could bring up, and skill, which is a noun in English. The ability, coming from one's knowledge, practice, aptitude, etc., to do something well. So it's the ability to do something well. And that ability comes from our knowledge, our practice, our experience, our aptitude, which is sort of like an aptitude would be like something you have naturally or possibly have developed over time. So just the ability to do something well. And this one comes from the Old Norse for skill, same word, just minus one L, which means discernment or knowledge. So as we've seen, a lot of words in the English language come from Latin, come from Greek, but some of them come from Old Norse. They come from like Viking languages. Some of them come from Finland, from Sweden, from Denmark. Those kind of Scandinavian cultures. So English has borrowed a lot of words. All right, so let's delve into our assignments. These are the unit assignments for Unit 2. So Unit 2 lessons. So number 4 is considering the information in the chart entitled Employability Skills 2000 Plus. And you can find that in the road ahead. So just make sure I got the right page number. Well, let's look at the table of contents. Thought I had it all set up. Yes, employability skills 2000 plus. That's page 50. Well, sorry, it's introduced on page 50, but the chart itself is on page 51. So this was a document. The chart was prepared by the various businesses that make up the Conference Board of Canada. It describes the skills that people need to achieve their goals in the workplace. Before you read, brainstorm a list of skills you think are needed to achieve goals in the workplace. So this Conference Board of Canada, which is getting feedback from a variety of employers, from businesses, to talk about all the skills that they think people need. So, and then the cover page of the chart reads, the skills you need to enter, stay in, and progress in the world of work, whether you work on your own or part of a team. Employability skills 2000 plus are the employability skills, attitudes, and behaviors that you need to participate and progress in today's dynamic world of work. The Conference Board invites and encourages students, teachers, and parents, labor, community leaders, and governments to use these skills as a framework for dialogue and action. Understanding and applying these skills will help you enter, stay in, and progress in the world of work. So as I mentioned, just like this chorus, you know, it's about helping you enter the workforce, stay in the workforce, or make some kind of a positive change in the workforce, like a move to a different job, or perhaps one inside your organization. So I just wanted to break down this chart and make sure that you understand the question completely, because there's a variety, there's different types of information on this page. The chart is organized into different columns and rows. So we'll just have a look at that and make sure we understand what we're talking about. Yesterday we had talked about charts and tables, and so the employability skills chart has 3 columns. Each one has a skill category, and then within each skill category are like subheadings and specific skills, and even below those, you've got even more specific skills. Okay. So considering the information in the chart, identify the one heading in each of the 3 categories you think is the most important, and explain why. So in at least 3 sentences, worth 5 marks. So let's break that down. So first, you're going to pick 3 of the skill headings from the employability skills chart. The skill headings are printed in blue, bold font, and the main categories are in orange. So I'll put that up on the board. So if you look at this chart, at the very top, the first row is a description of the chart. The second row, you'll see 3 categories: fundamental skills, personal management skills, and teamwork skills, and a description of what those skills entail. So fundamental skills are the skills you need as a base for further development. So what does that mean? You know, it's the fundamental skills are the ones you have to develop before you develop the other ones. Personal management skills are skills, attitudes, and behaviors that drive one's potential for growth. And teamwork skills are the skills and attributes needed to contribute productively. So there's these fundamental skills that you have to develop to help you grow. And then there's your personal management skills. So these are like, this is you and developing yourself. And sometimes we refer to this as professional growth, professional development. So developing yourself as an individual, working on me, working on my skills, becoming better, at what I do. And then there's the teamwork skills, right? So developing how I work with other people and how I take my skills to make things happen as a team, right? So if you go back to the first question, so what you have to do is you have to pick 3 of the skill headings, and that's in blue and bold, right? So, for example, if we go under fundamental skills, communicate, manage information, use numbers, think and solve problems. So I pick 3 of the skill headings. Pick 3 of them, okay, and explain why you think okay. Identify the one heading in each of the 3 skills categories you think is the most important. Okay. Identify the one heading in each of the 3 skill categories you think is the most important. Right, of course. So you have to identify the one that you think is the most important, okay? So I have to find one skill here, and one skill here. Okay, identify the one heading in each of the 3 categories you think is the most important and explain why. Okay. So under fundamental skills, I've got communicate, manage information, use numbers, think and solve problems. So let's just say I identify communicate, as the most important. And then I have to explain why. So, step 1, choose the most important skill. Step 2, explain why. Personal management skills, we've got demonstrate positive attitudes and behaviors, be responsible, be adaptable, learn continuously, work safely. So I'm going to pick be adaptable. And again, I have to choose what I think is the most important skill in that category. And then step 2, I got to say why. There's only 2 in teamwork skills, work with others and participate in projects and tasks. So again, pick which one you think is the most important and explain why. All right, so now we're on to assignment 5 from Unit 2. What is the purpose or value of an employability chart? At least one sentence. So let's start by thinking about the word purpose before answering. So this is a very important question to ask about any piece of writing, and any piece of text. If we're studying English or if we're in the workplace, everything has a purpose. There has to be a reason why a document is designed, right? So when a document is designed, you've got the author of the article, you got the author or the source, and then you've got the audience, right? So when answering this question, what's the purpose or the value of an employability chart? I would say that it kind of depends on who you ask, right? So, we're talking about employers and employees, right? So the employer is most likely going to be the source or the author of this kind of a document, and the employee is going to be the audience, right? So if I'm a boss and I'm running a company, then I'm going to use this chart as an educational tool that I'm going to show to my employees and I'm going to show to my managers, and it's going to be a document that we use together, right? As a you know, as an organization, right? Right. So and then the audience, the employee or the student, right? You know, they're going to learn from this, right? So they're going to learn how they can develop their skills. So the purpose of a document depends on the person who's using it, right? So, are you trying to train people? Are you the person who's being trained? Are you a teacher who's trying to teach students? Are you running a chamber of commerce and trying to develop skills? Are you, running a co-op program for students, right? So I would just think about things like that. So um, the purpose and value of anything is really defined by like how useful it is, right? So why would a document like this be used? Why would somebody write a chart like this? How would somebody use it? So when we talk about purpose and value, just think about specific ways that this document could be used, right? So I'll put that as a point on the board, right? So think about specific ways the chart would be used, right? And again, this really helps us get away from generalities and get away from just talking about the surface. Like, don't just pick one of the skills and be like, um, this chart helps people be responsible by seeing what goals they have to achieve, right? So that's part of the answer, but it helps employers teach their employees how to be responsible, and it teaches the employees how to be accountable to their coworkers and to their boss, right? So good writing is specific, and that's the approach I would take with that question. Question 6. List any 2 specific skills items in each of the 3 skills categories that you have demonstrated recently or in the past. Which of the 3 skills categories do you feel least prepared in when it comes to employment? Okay? So first, you choose 2 specific skills from each of the 3 skills categories that you have used recently or in the past. So you pick those 2 skills. So you can choose the main headings in blue or select one of the subheadings. But you must pick 2 from. So you pick 2 from each of the categories, right? So you pick 2 from fundamental skills, 2 from personal management skills, and 2 from teamwork skills. So for example, under teamwork skills, I could choose work with others, or I could choose one of these ones, right? Right? I could choose, like that and that. I could choose 1 and 2, or I could choose 1 and 2, like that. Does that make sense, right? So you have the main skills categories. That's the teamwork, personal management, and the fundamental. Within that category, you have the skills heading, right? And there's the ones in bold and the ones that are not bold. You have to pick 2 for each category that you've used recently. And then secondly, you decide which of the 3 skills categories you feel least prepared in when it comes to employment, right? So for that part of the question, you're selecting the skills category: fundamental, personal management, or teamwork skills. So your final answer should have 6 skills, 2 from each of the main categories, and an explanation of which skill category you feel the least prepared. So are you least prepared in teamwork, least prepared in personal management, or are you most lacking in the fundamental? All right, so now we're delving into one of our selections from today's lesson. So we have the 7 habits of highly effective people. My apologies. Sorry, I could have moved my mic. Sorry, but feeling great, but still got a lingering runny nose. Okay, so we're looking at the 7 habits of highly effective people. So this is a book written by Stephen R. Covey, and he wrote a book about this. It's one of the most best-selling books of all time. And they've adapted it in the textbook, so you get like a shortened version because they don't expect you to read the whole book, but it gives you an overview of the 7 habits, which are: habit 1, be proactive; habit 2, begin with the end in mind; habit 3, put first things first; habit 4, think win-win; habit 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood; habit 6, synergize; and habit 7, sharpen the saw. And so question says, list the 7 habits of highly effective people and provide one statement to briefly describe each one. Okay, so you've got the 7 habits, so you got to list them all, but then you got to have a statement that describes each one, okay? So I'll read a bit from that reading today, okay? The 7 habits of highly effective people provide a holistic, integrated approach to personal and interpersonal effectiveness. As you learn and apply the habits, you will increase your power, influence, and unity with others. So holistic's a great word. So it means like it encompasses everything, like mind, body, soul. A holistic approach to something takes into account all of the factors. So it's holistic and it's an integrated approach. I'm not sure what he means by integrated, but I think basically it means it's an approach that you integrate into your life. So it's it's not just like something you read in a book and forget about. It's something you read and then you put into practice. The 2 sides of success. Aesop's fable, The Goose and the Golden Egg, is the story of a poor farmer who one day finds a glittering golden egg in the nest of his goose. Though he is suspicious, he takes the egg home and learns to his delight that the egg is pure gold. Every morning thereafter, the farmer gathers one golden egg from the nest of his goose. He soon becomes fabulously wealthy. As he grows rich, however, he also grows greedy and impatient with only one golden egg a day. Attempting to seize all the gold in the goose at once, he slaughters it, only to find nothing. The moral of the fable has personal and professional application. Like the foolish farmer, we often push production, golden eggs, at the expense of what makes us capable to produce, the goose. Often we are more concerned with efficiency than with effectiveness. In attempts to be efficient, we overlook effectiveness and destroy our capability for getting results. All right, and then he discusses the emotional bank account, which is a metaphor that relates to the amount of trust in a relationship. So every relationship we have with a human being can be classified as a deposit or withdrawal in that person's trust. For example, you make deposits in another trust by showing kindness, keeping promises, honoring expectations, proving loyalty, and making apologies. In other words, you put something into a relationship. You build and you repair. And of course, the opposite would be if you have a harmful relationship with someone, then you're taking away from that and you are destroying trust and being unkind, breaking promises, violating expectations, showing duplicity, being two-faced, and being proud are withdrawals that take away from a relationship. All right, so the summary describes the 7 habits. All right, so habits are patterns of behavior that involve three overlapping components: desire, knowledge, and skill. Because these components are learned rather than inherited, effective habits can be learned and ineffective habits can be unlearned. Okay, so that's a key point to keep in mind with these 7 habits of highly effective people. The author is arguing that these aren't things that you're born with, or maybe they could be things that you're born with, or you kind of lean a certain way. But the main point is that they're skills that you practice and you develop, and over time, you get stronger at all of them. Okay, so let's just have a look at maybe one of these, and then so I'll have a look at habit 7. Okay, habit 7: sharpen the saw. The habit of self-renewal. Dulled by use, a saw's serrated edge can no longer cut through wood. The blade is not in the proper condition to saw effectively. To function effectively, people need to sharpen the saw. In other words, they need to preserve and improve themselves. The key to sharpening the saw is to regularly and consistently work on all 4 dimensions of renewal: physical renewal, social, emotional, spiritual, and mental. Bodies and minds exerted on a regular basis are prepared for exertion. Conscience consistently listened to and followed becomes increasingly sensitive. Relationships loyally attended to grow. As individuals balance and sharpen all 4 dimensions, they improve their effectiveness in all of the habits. In doing so, they grow, change, and improve. All right, so if I'm going to write a statement about... So you're only writing one statement, one sentence about each one. So if I'm writing about habit 7, sharpen the saw. Okay, so I've got the metaphor of the saw. I've got the 4 dimensions. Okay. Just kind of posing a question to myself. Are we the saw? Our skills, are they the saw? So the 4 dimensions were physical renewal, social, emotional, spiritual, and mental. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there's 4 dimensions of the saw: physical renewal. So that's what I would suggest to you. So even for a question like this one, when you're only required to write a single sentence, it does pay off to do some planning and just jot down some rough notes, right? So you read the entry, read the habit, write down 2, 3, 4 key points that you think should be in there, decide what the key one is, and then write a sentence about it. So myself, I would write about those 4 dimensions, and I would say, sharpening the saw is all about, renewing ourselves, right? Because that's really what we're talking about. We're talking about when you sharpen a saw, you're not making a new saw. You're not right? You're taking an existing saw that's got dull teeth on it, and you're just sharpening them up. So you're taking stuff that's already there and just sort of dusting it off, giving it a fresh polish, giving it a sharpen, right? So that's what I would say that's all about. Question 8, do you have any of the habits you have listed? If so, which ones and how has it been used? At least one sentence. If you do not presently have any of the habits listed, which one would you most likely want to have and why? I just want to make sure I had that question right. Do you have any of the habits you have listed? Right. Okay. So we're talking about the 7 habits. So do you have any of the 7 habits? Right? Do you have any of those? And how has it been used? So write a sentence about having that. If you do not presently have any of the habits, which one would you most likely want to have and why? At least one sentence. Right. So either write about one that you do have, or write about one that you don't have, and explain why. So those are our habits, right? So be proactive. Begin with the end in mind. Put first things first. Think win-win. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Synergize and sharpen the saw. So, find one that you have, that you use, explain, or choose one you want and explain. Right, so I think I do have. I mean, that's why I picked the sharpen the saw. I think I do have that habit, and I think I do practice renewal, and I try to keep myself sharp. So I would probably write about that and just talk about how I keep myself physically sharp, mentally sharp. I'm not perfect. I got a lot of mistakes, but I think that's one thing that I'm proud of, and that I think I do well. All right. The textbook assignment from Making It Work, page 116 or 116, whatever you want to call it. What positive things did the group do to include Alicia? What do you think Alicia's biggest problem is? What advice would you give her about how to improve? So if we go to Making It Work and we go to page 116, you'll find the question, and if you flip back a page, you'll get the you get an example. Sorry, the following, it's an example of what might happen when people work in a group. As you read, think about the positive and negative behaviors described. Alicia is having some trouble working in a group. It's getting to the point that no one wants Alicia to be in the group anymore. Her friends know that she is a very interesting and creative person and could potentially do really good work, but they don't know how to make it happen. All right, so as I read this, think about the positive things the group does to include her, and think about Alicia's biggest problem, what's holding her back, and think about what advice you'd give her about how she can improve. So the group knows that she's interesting, creative, and she can potentially do great work, but they don't know how to make it happen. Alicia has been assigned to a group in her culinary arts class. There are 5 people in the group, including Alicia. Their job is to choose the cuisine of a country of their choice and to design and produce a menu for a 5-course dinner. The group has 4 class periods to make decisions, do research, and design and produce their menu. Alicia was there in the first day, but she was 20 minutes late. The members had to explain the assignment to Alicia, and then she didn't really pay attention to what the group was doing. She pretended to listen, but she was using the class time to finish her math homework instead. The group decided, without her input, to decide a menu of Thai food. Near the end of the class, the group asked Alicia if she'd go to the library after school and print out some information on Thai soups. She agreed. The next day, she was late again. Alicia had not done the research, and she had spent the rest of the period walking around talking to members of other groups. Her group planned the rest of the menu and decided to give Alicia another chance. They made her promise that she'd find a soup recipe to bring the next class. And she promised she would. But Alicia did not come to the next class. Day 3 of the assignment. Another person in the group had to do her work for her. Alicia arrived in class on time the next day, the last day of the assignment, day 4. She was very interested in the design of the menu booklet and spent the whole period working on it. She even volunteered to take it home and finish the final copy for the group, but the group didn't trust her to do that, or to even come to class the next day. They did want Alicia's help, however, so they all agreed to meet after school to finish it. Alicia didn't make it to the after-school meeting, so the group finished the booklet without her. All right, so what positive things did the group do to include her? You know, what do you think her biggest problem is, and what advice would you give her about how to improve? So that's 4 marks, okay? So you got to think, you know, as a teacher, you know, if I was the one addressing the situation, I would be asking, you know, like what's happening in Alicia's life. That would be the advice that I would give to her. Like, what is happening in your life? Are there any major pressing issues? Like, is there a problem at home? Are you being bullied at school? So that to me would be question 1 or problem 1 to figure out is this person capable of being part of the group and contributing? And if the answer is yes, then you got to find ways to make that happen. If the answer is no, then you got to address that first, right? But, you know, so let's figure out where Alicia is in her life, and if she's okay to proceed, then we've got to give her ways that she can be part of the group, right? So we're talking about the group dynamic in this situation, right? The group dynamic. So we're talking about, you know, how Alicia fits in, you know, how the group works with her. Right? So just give that assignment another read and just think about it, right? So in Teach Me the Ways of the Sacred Circle, pages 6 through 20, Elaine, Matt, and Sam work well as a group. What are some of the reasons for their success? When they have problems, how do they solve them? Okay, so for that question, you have to go back to our reading from Unit 1, Teach Me the Ways of the Sacred Circle. And, you know, what I would do for this lesson I would first you have to identify a problem. Identify a problem the group has. You know, be specific. If you can find a problem this group has, then that's half the battle, right? So identify a problem the group has, and then be specific, and then discuss how they solved it. You know, what was their approach? So if you can do that, that'll get you full marks for that assignment, right? So You have to go back and skim through that selection and identify at least one problem the group has and be as specific as possible, right? And then discuss how they solve it, and then what's their approach, right? So if you remember, they're rehearsing because they're going to perform this song, Teach Me the Ways of the Sacred Circle. So that's one problem they have, is how to come together and meet as a group and rehearse this thing for the graduation ceremony. They have the problem, a larger problem of what to do after they graduate, making their futures kind of like line up. So there's that. So that's basically it. So find a problem and just a detailed description of how they solve it. All right, before you read page 87, the person placing a classified ad must pay for every line of type. Because of this, classified ads present a lot of information and in details in very few words. Scan the classified ads page here. What elements on the page make it easy to find the information you seek? So that's a blown up version of the page from your textbook. So as you see, when people write classified ads, they don't use the full description or they don't use the full word. They use a lot of short forms. We see there's a title. We see headings. We have we've got dividers, right, to divide the different sections. We've got, what else do we got? We've got short forms. Let's find one here. There we go. Table, shares. Let's see. We have bold. We have bold font right here. We have capital letters here. Right? So there's a variety of methods and ways that the content is organized on the page, so and the text is written. Yeah, so I would just discuss those elements. You've got rows. You've got columns, right? So just a description of how the page is laid out, the different typefaces, that kind of thing, right? So what elements? So when we're talking about these elements, that's, these are specific elements, right? Like bold, font, and headings, right? So specific ways that the page is organized. Okay, so that is all the time we have for ENG3E Class 10. So good luck with finishing off those assignments, and we will meet you again tomorrow for Class 11.